And now a video that many of you guys have been asking for. I have this other video on YouTube which shows 5 pyramid shelters, and it's a very successful video. Generates a lot of questions. Most of these questions are about the strong Hexamid pitch. There's much more details, such as what to do with the floor flaps, what to do with the door flaps. You need these extra tie-outs. There's the option of a porch on the front, all of which I will show you in this video. Pyramid shelters are awesome. They're strong, they're spacious, they have good sitting height, but it's kinda tricky to make one with a tarp. This pitch, the strong Hexamid, is an excellent choice. In this video I will show you the shelter, then I will show you how to pitch it, go over some details and answer your questions, and finally I will do a pitching demonstration in one shot, so I have no opportunity to hide my mistakes. It's snowing today, which is pretty awesome really in Holland. Now if you look at the shelter, you can see that there is quite a lot of cloth of your tarp that is not used as the shape of the shelter. That's a bit of a pity, because that means that you make a relatively small shelter out of a relatively large tarp. But then again, the form, the shape of the shelter is very optimal. Optimized for 2 guys, optimized for wind protection, and smaller shelters also make stronger shelters. This shelter works for 2 guys and gear. It is about 1.20 m or 1.30 m high. That's something like 4 feet or 6 millifurlongs. So that's a good height for sitting and playing cards. You can set it up with a minimum of 6 stakes, but you wouldn't do that if you have more available. 12 is more likely and much better. So I'll put it up with all the bells and whistles. The front end will be there, the back end will be here, so these are the sides, and I've pre-rigged it so that you can see where everything goes. And we're staking out 2 tie-outs there, but we're going to give them a lot of slack. So we did those, now we're going to this side. We're clipping these together. This will be the back end or the front end. And I'm not staking this one just yet. I'm just doing this to find the right location for the other tie-outs. Next is the pole, and we're setting it at about 1.20 m, so 4 feet. So not too high at first. We will tension the shelter later by raising the pole a little. Now I have a tip for you. If you do not have an adjustable pole, but you're just using a stick that you find in the woods, first put the stick diagonal and then later tension your system by putting it straight. But I have these great poles, so I'll be going for a 120, raise it later. So I know it looks awful, but we're gonna tension it now and just you watch. Now time to raise the pole to working height. Now I have been camping for a long time, and what I learned really early on is no matter how good the weather looks, always take everything down that you have. So of course we will be staking out these extra flaps that you have. Alternatively, if there are big rocks lying around, you can pile those on, or in deep snow, just pile a lot of snow on it. Give it some time to set and you will have a rock steady shelter. Also, if you're lucky, you will have these great side panel tie-outs. Do these. So one thing that this shelter does have against itself is the fact that it's kind of hard to get in and out of. This is the price you pay for a full enclosure. What the hell do you do with this flap over here? There you go. But now there's this weird problem. I want to close that flap on the outside, but I can't reach there now. How do I do that? Now there are several tricks to tackle these problems, and as always in camping and hiking and navigation, you have to find out what works for you. But as a shortcut, if you just do it like this, you will be fine. This is the back end. This is where most of the wind will blow. What you do is you tie it off on the outside to one of your tie-outs. Use a short tie-out for that, that's fine, and you just leave it there. Don't use this as an entrance unless the wind 180 is on you. And on the other end, the lee side, so the side that is facing away from the wind, that's where you're gonna have your opening, where you get in and out, and where you have your optional porch. Just do it like this. A long guy line goes here. Close it down like that. This just goes up. It doesn't really help for stability, but it makes it so much easier to get in and out. Watch. Nice opening, works like a charm. And it's still super stable. Now, if you want to do the optional porch, it's super easy. Just unclip this. Hire your pole. And you're ready to go. And at night, of course, you can close it down, but if the weather is good, why not keep it open? So the wind comes from there, the flap goes here if you put it on the outside. Other option is to do exactly the same thing, but on the inside. Also works well, especially in winter. And one weird technical pointer is that if you tie it off on the outside, the wind comes from here. This is where it goes. On the other hand, if you tie it off on the inside and the wind comes from here, this is not where it goes, because the wind will enter your shelter and cause havoc. You will tie it off to the other side, so the wind will blow over your shelter. To enter, what you do is first loosen it up all the way. It's gonna be much easier to close it behind you when you enter. Well, if you put your hand in, there's this little tie out there on the other side. You're gonna want to tie that tie out there, but via the outside of your shelter. It's a bit of a hit and miss thing. Yeah, there we go. And I tied it off to one of the tie outs on the side. But what you would usually do is tie it off to your shoes or your backpack or anything else that is in your shelter, because that's easy to reach, and then it's you don't have to stretch so far into the corner.